Coming up on Mountain News this morning, people are remembering a deadly Lexington plane crash nearly 2 decades later. And 2 children were killed in a shooting in Minnesota. Kentucky families now responding.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. Happy Thursday to you, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here on this August 28th. It is just about 5 o'clock this morning and time to take a look at our forecast with meteorologist Megan Dusmall. Bit of a chilly start. I can't even tell you how I felt this morning because I forgot our leftovers, I forgot my cup, I forgot my makeup, so I had to turn around 3 times. So I can't even tell you what it felt like.
It was cold. You're right on with that. It is a cold start to your morning. And before we show you the graphic, I just want to clarify we did change our color scheme a little bit. So while it's a lot bluer than yesterday, it's not a lot colder. So let's go into those current temperatures right now. About the same temperatures as yesterday, mainly a mixture of those 40s though, with some cities hitting that 50-degree mark. So just a little bit chillier than yesterday. And as we head into the afternoon, we will see a little bit of some warmer temperatures. You'll also notice a little bit of a color differentiation on this one too. We did change up our palettes, but overall not too bad of a day. Still going to look at some of those fall time conditions, especially since we're staying nice and dry all day long with those sunny skies as you're heading into the main portion of your day. Here's a look at that 12-hour forecast for you. Again, not too bad. Amelia.
A man charged with murder in Jackson County appeared in court yesterday. State police say a lengthy investigation led them to James Bergman. Bergman's arrest citation says he confessed to the shooting and getting rid of the gun in connection with the death of James Carmick. He's also charged with abuse of a corpse and tampering with evidence. In Russell County, a man had to be flown to the hospital after a crash involving a motorcycle. It happened just before noon yesterday at the intersection of US 127 and Fruit of the Loom Drive. Jamestown police say 30-year-old Jordan Weed of Columbia, Kentucky, was riding on a Harley Davidson when it hit the back of a car. The other driver was not injured. Russell County EMS took Weed to a helipad so he could be flown to a hospital for treatment. A 2-day event in Pikeville is bringing healthcare workers from throughout the state together to discuss how to improve access, treatment, and outcomes for women and children. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has a look at day 1.
I know there's a lot of collaboration between many different groups, and that's what it takes to solve the biggest challenges that we have in front of us.
The Kentucky Symposium for Maternal and Infant Outcomes kicked off Wednesday, bringing healthcare workers, community organizations, and other partners together at the Appalachian Wireless Arena.
The theme this year is Team Kentucky Birth, and it's important because multidisciplinary teams, including people with lived experience and those within the community, really create stronger outcomes for moms and their babies.
With discussions ranging from mental health to trauma-informed care, all focused on a team-based approach to caring for mothers and babies.
To support our healthcare heroes, to make sure that women in Kentucky have the best healthcare possible and that our kids get off to the best start possible.
Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman gave the opening remarks, saying it is promising to see the heroes improving outcomes by coming together.
I know the impact that it has on families and on communities, and it's so important, especially with the cuts that have come down from Washington, D.C. that are going to impact healthcare in the coming years. We've got to really ready ourselves and wrap our arms around these communities because it's going to hurt.
Organizers say the event is not only about preparing the providers, but letting the people they serve have a seat at the table, building up new mothers, shining a light on substance abuse, and touching on the hot topics that impact real people.
For me is the community and the people with lived experience and being able to integrate them and allowing our clinical teams to see who they are impacting.
Saying it may be a 2-day event, but it focuses on all the days ahead. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Attendees at the symposium are now heading to a networking event featuring music by Nicholas Jamerson. The symposium continues tomorrow at the arena. Well, yesterday marked 19 years since a deadly plane crash claimed 49 lives at Lexington's Bluegrass Airport. On August 27, 2006, the pilot of Comair Flight 5191 took off on the wrong runway. All 47 passengers and 2 crew members died. One person survived, co-pilot Jim Folinke, who was actually piloting at the time of the crash. Former WKYT anchor Sam Dick says in his 48 years in broadcasting, this is the most important story he was a part of as an anchor and reporter.
Within minutes, he said, "You need to get on the air live." By myself. And all we knew, it gives me goosebumps, all we knew at that time was maybe there had been a plane crash. And as more stories came out, it just became more tragic. You know, the couple that had just gotten married the day before, the older couple that were celebrating something, a college student who was 25 years old. Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
Years after the crash, a 17-foot sculpture with 49 silver birds was installed to remember the 49 lives that were lost. It's located at the Arboretum on the University of Kentucky campus. Prayer services and a candlelight vigil in Minneapolis as the community comes together after unspeakable tragedy. Hours earlier, police say a suspect shot through the windows of Annunciation Catholic Church during a mass full of students from the church's school. 2 young children, just 8 and 10 years old, were killed. 5th grader Weston Halsney says he ran and hid under a pew after he heard the gunshots.
My friend Victor saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit, and I hope he's good in the hospital.
14 other children were wounded during the shooting, along with 3 adult worshipers, all in their 80s. Police say the suspect was armed with 3 guns, all legally purchased, and that they recovered more firearms connected to the suspect after executing search warrants at the church and at 3 residential places in the city. Kentucky families are watching the news of those 2 children killed in a shooting in Minnesota just weeks or days after sending their students back to school. Some school leaders are discussing how they're reassuring family and students in moments of tragedy. One doctor talked about how this will impact young students who just returned to the classroom. She says students of all ages may develop some anxiety about going to school, but there are ways to help them through this as a trusted adult in their lives.
What parents need to do is open up dialogue and talk, offer support, and then remind your child of all the things that their school is doing to help keep them safe.
Dr. Stone recommends parents monitor children's screen time and social media use as the story develops. Well, Governor Andy Beshear put out a statement after the shooting. He said, quote, "American children should be safe and feel safe in their schools," adding that Kentucky is holding all of Minnesota in our hearts. President Donald Trump ordered flags be flown at half-staff following the school shooting. And here's video of flags flying outside Union Station in Washington. That's on your screen now. It's just blocks from Capitol Hill. The president issued a proclamation yesterday calling for flags at all federal buildings, military posts, and naval bases to be flown at half-staff through sunset on August 31st. Well, the director of the nation's top public health agency is out after less than 1 month in the job. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services said Susan Monarez is no longer director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Attorneys for Monarez say she was targeted for, quote, protecting the public over serving a political agenda. At least 3 top CDC officials have also resigned. Well, thank you so much for getting your day started with us on Mountain News this morning at 5:07. A Kentucky woman was born with a disability, but that's not stopping her from chasing her dreams.
And rain chances are staying clear for today, but they are returning heading into next week.